Hello, my people, my Bomb Squad Army, my Bomb Squad Nation, to all my loved ones around the world. I just want to let you know that I am here. Your king is here, and we ain't going nowhere, for the war has just begun. I will rise again. I am strong. I am a king. They can't take my pride. I am a warrior. I'm a king that will never give up. I'm a king that will fight to the death. And if anyone don't understand that, don't understand what it is to go to war, don't understand what it is to fight, we will rise again. We will regain the title. I will be back. We will hold our heads up high. Your king is in great spirit. And we will rise like a phoenix from the ashes and regain the title. I'll see you in a few months, for the war has just begun. All my love to all my people.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy Quick. As you saw from the video, we have a third fight. I mean, we're looking at a mid-July or whatever, so we got a summertime, so we're looking at a Wilder Fury 3. It's not considered a rubber match because, you know, we have a draw and we have a TKO, so I mean, we get ready to get back in the mix. So let me just address some things from me as a fan of the sport. For me, hearing Wilder excuses with the vest or whatever, you know, the headgear and all that stuff like that, to me those things were choice driven. He had a choice to come in there with that, and I understand, you know, that those kind of excuses that he used. And then the other excuse, you know, that people were posting, none of those things to me that was confirmed, that he's saying that you know, with the Mark Breland throwing the towel in from he had some kind of in collusion with another camp. None of those things to me was confirmed. So I'm not trying to give it any kind of steam. I just want to just say, as a fan of the sport, you got to watch where you're getting your sources from, because my biggest thing is I have certain sources that I trust, and I know for a fact if it's not coming from them, I don't give it any steam. So I don't engage in any other kind of you know, stuff like that, because to me, I feel like as a true fan of the sport, and then I mean that's why I always say, if you're a real true fan of the sport, you trust in who the people that you really get your sources from. So my biggest thing for me, those kind of things like that, you don't want to give it no steam, because most people just watch the Wilder and Fury. Some of them you're gonna have more because of the hype. The hype built up the fight. You're gonna have true core fans, and then you're gonna have some I call them fair weather fans. You know, they just watch it for the moment, and then after then that's it. And then if something goes viral, they would jump to it, and then they would just blow it up. So shout out to all the true fight fans that's really giving balance. That's really giving that balance to the sport, and I appreciate every one of y'all. So much respect to every last one of the true fight fans that's really you know fighting for the sport and not really giving it any steam. And also in regards to about the issue about the firing of the Mark Breland issue, I keep saying, I've always said, I mean, I said Mark Breland is a hero, because my biggest thing is, in the issue with him throwing in the towel, I feel like he eliminated you know, Wilder from getting any more injuries, because if it would have went longer, which in most cases it could have been stopped a whole lot, you know, earlier, that could have just, you know, that could have prevented, you know, this rematch. Because if it would have, you know, took any more punches, we wouldn't be talking about another rematch. So shout out to Mark Breland for that, and I feel like that's the best decision as a coach he could have made, because as a coach, you have to trust your fighter. Your fighter trusts you. And that's all. I mean, to me, it's like family. It's just like you seeing your son out there getting beat up. What you gonna do? Let him continue to get beat up, or you gonna jump in and help him? He couldn't jump in and help him, so the only thing he had was that towel. So to me, that was a key thing, and I like that from Mark Breland. So shouts out to him, much respect. And I'm pretty sure when all the dust settles, all the emotions goes away, Wilder's gonna realize that was the best decision he could have made for him. So I mean, with the rumors going around about him getting rid of him in the camp or whatever, I mean, nothing, like I said, nothing was confirmed. So I'm considering, and I'm just going to, just erase all of that. Mark Breland is still in the camp. I'm just going to say that because, like I said, I'm on the outside looking in, and I don't have no inside source. So I'm just going to assume, because nothing has been confirmed, Mark Breland is still in the camp. His team is still together, but I feel like there's going to be some shifting being made, and I feel like that's going to make things better for him, for Wilder, in the long run, because he's going to realize who has his best interest at heart. So with that being said, I feel like in this rematch, I feel like there are going to be some things that's going to help him in the long run, and whatever change is going to be made in the long run, that's going to make Wilder a better person overall, period. Not just as a fighter, but just as a better person, because you suffer your first loss, a lot of emotions come in, and you reach, you gasping for straw, you reaching and saying this happened, I got it. So how he handled his first loss, that's just how he handled his first loss. But for me, I don't agree with how he went about it. I would have took it as, hey, you got your first loss, suck it up, go. But I mean, some people on the other end, which I said it too, he jumped on the Joshua train when when Joshua took his first loss, and it was like, he said what he said, but Joshua took his first loss and said, hey, I took my loss, no excuses, it is what it is. But everybody handles their losses different. So as a fighter, we as fans, real fight fans, we got it, we take it, but then you have the other fans that's not gonna let it die. So much respect to Wilder. He got his first loss, and he able to fight another day, and we have the rematch. So let's get to it. So now, as a fan, a true fan, much respect to him, and much respect for Tyson. It's Tyson Fury as well. Let's get to it. Let's make this third match. Let's clear the air, and let's see where we're gonna go from here. So my thoughts on this rematch. I feel like I said in the last previous video, and shout out to everyone that saw my last video. I still feel like Wilder needs a plan B and a plan C, because if that was the case with him using that as an excuse with adversity, because he showed that he can't, to me, he showed that he couldn't really get it together with adversity. So basically he showed, once he got in a situation where he couldn't really be the Wilder that we all know that Wilder can be, he showed that he really couldn't really get it together. So my biggest thing for me, if you think about, I'll give you another situation. When you look at Badou Jack, Badou Jack was a fighter. If you remember that fight, got his head split open. At any given time, that referee could have stopped that fight. He fought on. He kept fighting. Head split wide open. Those kind of situations like that, he could have easily let it go. So he found another way. He kept fighting. Then you have fighters, hands pretty much broken or whatever, pretty much damaged. So they found other ways to make adjustments. But Wilder didn't have that. Equilibrium off, I got it. So there's other situations where you can look at that you can make excuses to not continue to fight. But to have those kind of excuses that he used to justify why he couldn't, make the fight, couldn't continue in the fight after the fight, those things like that to me was non-existent to me. So I just pushed that to the side. But I feel like this next fight, if he make these key adjustments, that I feel like they can help him moving forward. Like, for example, learn how to fight off that back leg, learn how to transition from being just that one punch knockout artist to not only just being that one punch. He can go from that one guy. He can almost be footwork a little bit and work on his fundamentals, that core fundamentals. But I want him to work off the jab. Fury was setting everything off that jab. So I feel like for me, in his camp, I think those core back to the basic things, which is going to require a lot of discipline from Wilder, because those things like that is going to take his total. It's going to readjust his whole fight game, because he was always waiting, to do that, to set that punch up. But I feel like if he do everything, those kind of those fundamentals that he can do in the ring that he used to do, he can make this fight a whole lot better. But I feel like in Fury's camp, him coming forward and making giving that shock treatment to Wilder, because he never experienced that, because he always be the intimidator. He was the bully inside the ring. We talking in fight perspective. We're not talking overall. He was the bully in the ring. So Fury was the one that turned around and made him. He was the bully and made him the guy that feared him, which to me was a good tactic, because he brought the fight to Wilder. So I like everything about it, but I was anticipating Wilder to be that guy, to be the more aggressive, because like I said, he's the one that you don't want to fight from behind. So the weight was a factor that, everything that Fury did was to his advantage. So this fight coming up, in my personal perspective, I think it's going to be interesting. Another thing, will it sell? Okay, you just came off of a pay-per-view, a great pay-per-view, great rematch, a great gate at the MGM Grand, almost 18 million, I think. Don't get me wrong, but will this fight sell now? I mean, you just grab fight fans. That was awesome. So I feel like the anticipation for getting him, going for this one, we don't know. And another thing to take in consideration with Wilder, even we can all look at some of the bigger fights that bigger guys that that took their losses and came back and got their belts back. I mean we can try to stay current. I mean, we look at Charlo. Charlo, he made his adjustment. He came back and got his belt back. I mean, we can go way back. We can go further back. Like I said, I can just go back and just grab other fights. But I'm just looking at how adjustments can be made in the camp that can make Wilder, stay disciplined and stick to the game plan. Because I feel like this camp here for Wilder in this third rematch is the most important camp of his career as a boxer, because I feel like this right here will allow him and will show him as a fighter how disciplined he can be, how he can make key adjustments, and how much he really wants it on here and here, how bad he really want it. I mean, do I think it was an emotional decision for him exercising that rematch clause so fast? Who knows? But like I said, the heart of Wilder, you can't question it, because as a fighter, period, you can't question that. But I feel like there's a lot to say about this rematch, and about the adjustment he's willing to make in this camp that's moving forward, because we looking at 4 months. So I mean, he probably taking a couple of weeks off right now, making some probably making a couple of changes or whatever. But I feel like he's getting ready to get back in there and making some couple of shifts. That's just how I feel like he's gonna make it, because I feel like he wants it so bad, and I feel like now it's more of a will to really do what needs to be done. And I feel like now me still thinking that he's willing to make those adjustments and going back to the old school ways, the shadow boxing, the jabbing, the discipline of the jab, to willing to set everything up off the jab, the blinding. I mean, you can blind them and get that right down the middle. I mean, he can definitely get some, 3-punch combination. I mean, he can jab to the body. I mean, he really can get that footwork movement. I mean, he can close the gap, because most of the time when you get Wilder in the situation, his balance was always, to me, his balance was always a problem to me in some cases. I mean, I always felt like his balance a little bit was a problem. Not even just from that other fight. I mean, if you look at I mean, look at his couple of other fights. I mean, I'm gonna have to go in detail and probably hit you up in the, if someone asks, I could probably go, go in detail, hit you up in the comments. But his balance was an issue with me anyway, because I mean, if you look at anytime he gets hit, he's always off balance. He's ready to throw, and then But my biggest issue now is what changes is he willing to make to really bring that fight back to Fury? Is he willing to go in and willing to bring the fight to Fury? Because basically Fury did, he pretty much said high risk, high reward. He took the ultimate risk. He looked past that. He looked past that ultimate right hand. He looked past the like, I don't care. I'm coming in there. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And he did it. So my biggest thing, him going into this third fight, he's willing to do the same. I'm pretty sure he's going to do the same exact thing. He's going to come in. He's going to have patience. He's going to bring the jab because he's a pure boxer. So I'm not expecting Wilder to box. Okay, this is don't get it twisted. I'm not expecting Wilder to box. I'm expecting Wilder to really be able to dictate the distance. I mean that jab, like I said, I really need him to. He got one of the hardest jabs in the game. So that's just one of the biggest things for me. I feel like he can do that. So that's all. I feel like that's all Wilder needs. So, and another thing I can think about, even if being that he's coming back so fast, because I feel like he could have taken a break. So while I felt like he was able to work on those core things, while I felt like he could have took some time off, and then if that unification bout would have happened between Joshua and Fury, he could have took a fight in between, possibly a Joseph, Parker or Ruiz or whatever. I mean, who knows? He could have worked on those key things in his camp and then see where he's at and then get back in the mix. Then that way he was able to, the winner between Joshua and Fury, he could have been able to did that one fight and snatch them all up at one time. But no, the heart inside of inside of Wilder, he's willing to go back in there and get his belts back, and then he can go and he can go after Joshua. And if Joshua get past Polo, then who knows? All right, guys, that's going to be a wrap for this video, man. I appreciate everybody that's been rocking with me thus far. And once again, shout out to every true advocate of the sport that's been debunking all these videos, that's been out here in the boxing community, that's been putting out negative vibes. Like I said, you're going to have the Fury. It's been Fury fan versus Wilder fan. I mean, you're going to have that, and I get it. Everybody got their emotions all wrapped up in this. But at the end of the day, man, it's boxing. And if you're a true fan of the sport, you're going to love everything about what happened last weekend. You saw, last week or whatever, the week before. So you love everything that happened. You saw what happened to a fighter that has been having this KO win streak so far, that was able to see how he can handle adversity. You saw what happened. So now you get to see the anticipation. You get to see what's going to happen, how he's going to handle what's going to happen him coming back with his rematch. So there's a lot of build up that's getting ready to happen now, that being that he exercised his rematch clause. So there's a lot of things that we can look forward to coming into this rematch. So I mean, my biggest thing is, yes, it was a big pay-per-view. So with this big gap now, I mean, yeah, my question is, will it bring these fight fans back? It leaves room for it's a debate, But my biggest thing is, I appreciate everybody that's been able to, really give their unbiased judgment about the fight, the Wilder fan base and the Fury fan base. So shout out to all the guys that's been out there debunking all these, conspiracy videos. And I appreciate everyone that's been rocking with me. And if you like the video, hit me up in the comments. I mean, I really wanted to go in detail and give you a little bit more specific. But me being as a coach, I want to try to talk to you as a fan, because me personally, man, I love everything that happened last weekend, because I really pretty much sided with Breland. I mean, I really felt how he felt, because I would have really just threw in the towel. But I understand how a fighter felt, because he really want to, go out. He said he want to go out on his shield. But like I said earlier in this video, he's going to appreciate him, in the long run, and he probably already has. So that's why I said, at the end of the day, you never know. I mean, everybody handle their losses different. So it's what you do when you come back. So now we saw Wilder down. Now we get ready to see how Wilder's gonna be in this next fight. How he's gonna respond. I mean, despite all the the excuses that he made, Wilder's still he's still a fighter. He's still a warrior. So I'm unbiased. I'm a fan of both fighters, and I love how Wilder's planning on coming back the same way I saw how Fury came back. So adversity, this is what we like about the sport. We're going to see how he's going to respond through with adversity. So with that being said, if you like, hit me in the comments. Let me know what you think and how you feel about this this upcoming rematch in the summer, and what how you feel about Fury with this rematch. What you think, Fury? Do you think Fury gonna make any changes, or do you think Wilder should make any more additional changes in his camp? I feel like everything is pretty solid. I mean, you never know. That's just my base. I mean, if you're gonna bring in somebody, who do you think he should bring in? Give me your comments. How do you feel? Let me know. With that being said, guys, I appreciate everybody rocking with me. Peace.